Are we live? I think we are. Are we live? Are we in? Are we in? Good evening, YouTube. How are we doing? Are you all right? Scarf strangling me. Good evening. Are you here? If you're here, you can hear me, you can see me. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Sorry, so that I can make sure I'm not talking to an empty room. Let me know. Let me know. Hello, one and all. I can see you coming in, which is great. We'll just give it a minute or two for everybody to get in. The email will have gone out with a link on, so everybody will be scrabbling around trying to find the link, no doubt. Nice to see you all. Hello, hello. So while we're waiting for everybody, how have you found today? Spending audit and money goals. How has today been? Have you found it easy? Have you found it hard? Has it been emotional? Tell me everything. We are at the halfway point. We're actually past the halfway point. The halfway point was at lunchtime. There's still lots to talk to you about. There's still 2 full days of very interesting stuff. So we've got eye-opening. How have you found today? Just put it in the comments. Let me know. How has your day been? Enlightening and tough, eye-opening. Hello, Julie. Hello, Steve. Hello, Susan. Hello, Jason. Hello, Julie. Hello, Shireen. I can see you guys here. Hello, Susan. I love this. Shocking, enlightened, enlightening, tough, eye-opening. Today is actually a bit like that. The spending audit, I think, for most people is quite a ripping off the plaster type situation. And, you know, the spending audit, sometimes people are quite surprised by the results on this. And, you know, like I said right at the beginning of the week, there's no judgment to any of this, right? There's no good or bad or right or wrong. It just is where you are right now. It's just the line in the sand from which we can move forward from. You know, I've had so many of you guys WhatsApping me today, and a few of you messaged me on Facebook, you know, talking to me about your personal situation and what or how you can fix the challenges that you're seeing at the minute. And so many of you have sort of said to me, you know, you feel embarrassed or you feel stressed about it, or, you know, you're not necessarily being honest with the people around you, some of you, because you're embarrassed by this stuff. But we have to remember is that it just is where we are. What's led up to this point has led up to this point. It doesn't mean that we have to continue that. You know, you've spent the week so far, you'll spend the rest of the week developing your knowledge and understanding and strategies to be able to get out of these patterns. But there is no judgment. And what I want you to try to do is to not be too hard on yourselves. Don't beat yourself up too much about it, because you just are where you are. How you got here doesn't really matter, because you're just here. And what we can do now is really develop our understanding, our, you know, behaviors, our tactics and our strategies to move things forward. And, you know, today is all about setting those money goals. And tomorrow and the next day, we get into the investing stuff, which is like the really, really fun stuff. But you can't get into investing until you've understood where the money's going to come from. So getting a handle on your money and then moving forward to prepare and start to invest, this is a really important step. So let me ask you a question. If you could all respond to me in the comments, it helps me to know what's happening. So question number 1, were you surprised with what you learned today about your spending habits? Yes or no? Were you surprised? Or did you already know? Were you actually surprised by what you discovered in your spending audit? So yes. We've got the yeses coming in here. We've loved this. Okay, so some of you knew, some of you haven't done it yet, which is fine. Like you've got till the end of the day. Some of you wasn't, because you monitor it quite closely anyway. Some of you had an idea. And for some of you, realize that your outgoings is more than your income. And let's be honest, right? When your bank has minus numbers in it, you probably know that your outgoings are more than your income, but you don't always know where or how or what that money is, you know, where it's disappearing from. So interesting. Great. Thank you very much for that. Question number 2. Have you all highlighted at least one place where you could be making different choices the way you're spending your money? Is there something you could come back on? Is there something you could cancel? Is there something that you could do differently? I've used the example of the food shop for all of the weeks. I'll give you, like, we'll use that again. You know, are you doing a big shop, or are you popping to the co-op every day to like pick up your lunch? Is there something? Have you all identified at least one thing that you could do to behave differently with your spending? I'd love it if you could share with me what that one thing is, but you don't have to. Just a yes or a no. Have you highlighted at least one thing that you could be doing differently in terms of the way you're behaving with your money? So there's yeses coming in. We love this. Definitely Marks & Spencer's being used as a supermarket. Not anymore. We love that. Marks & Spencer's is a treat shop, in my mind anyway. Obviously, we've all got our own situation. Impulse spending, cutting down. Some things need to be cut down. Yeah. I tell you what, right? If you removed impulse spending from your life, you would have more money. And I know that sounds obvious, right? Because obviously, if you're not spending it, you've got more. But impulse spending, unplanned spending, for most people is the thing that's crippling you. It will be, you know, when people ask to borrow money and you say yes, but it was never in the budget. Or you pop to Marks & Spencer's to buy your lunch, but it was never in the budget. Or, you know, something comes along, you're like, oh yeah, fuck it, just do it. Why not? There's a pair of sunglasses on sale and you think, oh yeah, I'm just going to do that. Impulse spending. It's not really in the budget, right? So what's important to know is that you all need to have a fun money pot. This is not about you living a life where you've got nothing and you're doing nothing and you're having no fun at all, right? Everybody wants to be able to like go to the shopping center, buy themselves a treat, reward themselves for things. Like, this is important. We'll talk about that in a minute when we get into the goals. But you have to have a fun money account so that if there is a sale on a pair of sunglasses that you really fancy, you can make a conscious decision. I'm going to use my fun money for that, because that's what it's there for, right? Cutting down on stuff that is in fact important stuff, you know, that's actually quite hard to do. You've all got to eat. We've all got to pay our bills, right? But we could just do it slightly more sensibly. We can adjust the behaviors. So, okay, thank you for answering that. Really appreciate that. Last question. Have you found patterns in your spending that you weren't aware of? So surprised by the money in terms of its in and outs, but is there patterns in terms of the way that you're utilizing your money on a regular basis that maybe you weren't aware of or that you could change? Like, is there, I know for me, definitely it's like this morning I was running a bit late. I had plans. So I stopped at the shop on the way to the office. I picked up an avocado, some tomatoes, some eggs and some bagels, and I made myself breakfast at the office. Now, I got that from the co-op. That would have been like probably 3 times more expensive than had I got it in my food shop at the weekend. Yeah. And I use impulse spending because it's a really prevalent example in my life, but I have a pot for it. So I know that impulse spending, I know that those kind of like quick pops here and there and things like that, I know it's part of my life, and I know it's part of the pattern of my life because I'm on the road a lot. You know, I stop at services a lot because I'm traveling a lot for work. I do a lot of public speaking. I'm on a lot of stages. So I stay in a lot of hotels. You know, sometimes I need to grab a bottle of water from the vending machine because there's nothing, you know, I stayed in a travel lodge in Newcastle last week, and travel lodges don't put water in your bedrooms. So I was like really thirsty. In the end, I had to go, and it was like £2.50 for a bottle of water. I can't remember. I put it on my Instagram. It was a lot of money. So I ended up impulse buying. So I've got a budget set aside for what will effectively be those unexpected expenses. So even with impulse buying, you can plan for it. You can know that that's part of your habitual behaviors, and you can plan to have, okay, well, there's a little bit here that, you know, if I am walking past the shop and I know I've run out of something and I do want to buy myself a bag of Maltesers because I just want to curl up in front of a good film with a little chocolate bar, you've got the budget to do it. Yeah, this is just about being proactive with your money instead of reactive with your money. Okay, brilliant. So what we've highlighted in our spending audit checklist, which you guys have gone through today, those that haven't done it yet, this is what it looks like. You have a section in here that asks you to set 1 or 2 specific goals to improve your financial health. Has everybody set themselves 1 or 2 specific goals to improve their financial health as we sit here today, right now? Have we all done that? Do we all know what it means? I think the key with setting these specific goals is that you have to be realistic. On the VIP session today, when I did the budget tracker session today, we recorded that, by the way. So anyone that wasn't able to attend live will get that record. Is it in the members portal already?
It's sent out email.
Oh, right. Okay. It's gone out on email. Ah, fine. I'm just making stuff up. I thought it was online. But Shamila's sent the VIP session out on email to everybody that has upgraded from today's session. So what we talked about in that session as well was the importance of being realistic, but setting these goals in a way where you're planning ahead of schedule. So rather than looking back at the month and being like, oh, I've spent £1,000, starting at the start of the month and thinking, right, I've got £500 to spend this month. What am I going to do? Where's it going to go? Like planning for it. So be realistic, making sure that you reward yourself when you are successful in your goals. We're going to talk in a minute about the goals framework, which we'll get to, like how to actually set the goals. But I want you to all have in mind like 1 or 2 specific things that you think would really improve your financial position, right? We want to make sure we're automating, which we've talked a little bit about yesterday. We want to make sure that you're having your fun money account. So you've got that cash. If you see the nice pair of shades that you want to upgrade or buy, you can do. You know, if you're in an airport traveling and you fancy buying something there, you can do. Having a fun money account is really important. And then there's a couple of things I just want to share with you. So there's a lot of power in working with cash. How many of you never have cash? You always just tap. I'm trying to become a more cash person because I believe in cash. I think we should keep cash. I'm cheering for cash. But also, I find cash so hard to spend because I'm like, oh, it's real. That's very real. Handing over a £20 note or £50 note or £10, I'm like, oh, I really consider it before I do it. I really think about that. We tap all the time. And it's like this, it's okay. We've convinced ourselves that that's not great. That's just easy. And that cash is not great because it's inconvenient. You've got to go and get it, etc. I challenge you to try for 30 days. I'm going to give you 2 challenges, right? Do them one or the other or both, up to you. I'm not going to monitor them. Just going to give you the idea for you to do. For 30 days, just spend cash only, no card. So at the beginning of the month, get the money out, or the beginning of the week, get your cash out you've got budgeted for that week, and only pay cash for stuff. Now, obviously, there's some things, like you can't buy on Amazon with cash. We understand that. But in terms of like being out at shops, buying coffee, paying for petrol, all of these sorts of things, just for 30 days, just pay cash and see if you find that is harder to spend and whether that adds to your pot or takes away from your pot. It's a good challenge. And then the other challenge is what we've dubbed a no spend month. I can't think of a better name than that. And actually, Emma and I talked about it in the office this afternoon. I think we're going to try to do one in February. And you're all very welcome to join us if you want. I'll probably document it online. Basically, a no spend month is where before the month begins, you set the rules and you decide what counts as an essential spend and what doesn't. So, you know, all your bills that you need to pay, you've got to pay them. Your mortgage, your rent, you've got to pay all those. Impulse spending, not allowed. Things like, if something runs out, so like if my foundation ran out or my hair products ran out, I can replace those because they matter to me, and I want to have those things. But if in the evening I fancy a chocolate bar, because I've got a shop literally opposite my house, I can't go to the shop and get a chocolate bar to like dunk in me tea before bed. Like, that's not a thing. That definitely is sometimes a thing, right? That's not an essential spend. If you go to the shopping centre and you see sunglasses on sale, that's not an essential spend. You can't spend anything that's not considered and predetermined at the beginning of the month as an essential spend. So like if you know you're going on a trip, you've got to get there, you've got to get back, you need the petrol, your train ticket or whatever, that's an essential spend. If you did 30 days where you didn't spend anything at all, you said no to everything that wasn't an essential spend, see what happens to your bank balance. My friend did this, and she's the lady that gave me the idea. Her name's Leanne. She's my oldest friend in the whole world. We've known each other since we were like months old. And she did no spend months. And I can't remember the exact figures, but I think she did 3 in 2023, 3 months. And it's basically contributing quite a big chunk to her wedding. So actually you'll find when you do no spend months, you will have far more money than you anticipate, because you're probably not aware of quite how much money you're hemorrhaging that you don't know about. Do you really need that thing on Amazon? Do you really need it? Like, did I really need to buy the puppy a new toy? Probably not. When I popped into Pets at Home to get food, did she also need? No, she didn't. Impulse spending, right? So no spend months. Anyone up for this challenge? Anyone fancy doing this in February with me and Emma? So Emma, for those of you that don't know, is my business partner / best friend, and we do a lot together. We share this office together. We've got a business together, and we've actually got technically 2 businesses together. We do our retreats together in Ibiza, so we do a lot of stuff. So we're gonna try and do a no spend month together. So there's a few of you declaring you in. I love this. Nice work, Julie. You in? Who else is in? Florence is in. We love this. Well done. Amanda's in. Yes. You guys can police it yourselves. So I'm not going to do any sort of organized thing, but I would love to hear from you about it, what's happening, like how you're tracking it, and I'll share mine online as well. So spending audit we've talked about, and I don't want to take up too much time on the spending audit tonight because I've got loads to get through on the goal setting framework. But if we have time at the end and you've got questions about this, I'll happily come back to you. Before we get into the money framework and really pinning down what our goals are going to be and how best to do it, I want to just very briefly answer a few questions that have come up today from the VIP session and from the WhatsApp conversations that I've been having. So the social media competition, yes, it's running every day. Yes, every single social media post you put up this week will count as an entry, but you have to use the hashtag I'm a money mechanic. Otherwise, I don't know that it's there, or tag me in, or both of those would be more helpful, actually. Please post something on socials about this 5 days. The reason we run this, by the way, is because as a small business, as a business that has 3 ways that you can work with us, you can buy a book, you can subscribe to a £2 a week subscription, or you can attend an event that's £295. Because this is really the only revenue streams we have as a business. We don't have big ad budgets. We don't have big marketing budgets to spread the word and so on. So we rely on you to spread the word about what we're doing here and how we're helping and the contribution we're making. And, I'm on a mission to completely change the financial and literacy of a whole generation. That is what we're trying to do, right? So anything that you can do to help us to share that is really greatly appreciated. And the prize for the winner of the social media competition is 2 tickets to Money Mechanics Live on March the 22nd in Milton Keynes, which are tickets for that £295 plus VAT at the moment. As of Saturday, is it Saturday the 1st?
Yeah.
As of Saturday, those tickets will be £650 plus VAT. So, these are valuable tickets. So get your hands on them by sharing your socials, your learnings, a little photo of me, whatever you fancy on the socials. So that, and just really how important it is to be learning about this stuff, because this mission to improve the financial literacy of a generation, multiple generations actually, because there's loads of us here, right? is super important to me, but I can't do it on my own. So any help you can give me, I will super appreciate that. So that's that. The next thing, I've had questions about Money Mechanics Live. So I've talked about it. There are 3 ways you can work with my business. You can buy a book. You can join Stock Savvy, which is our £2 a week stocks and shares and investment funds training program. You get a video each week. It's £2 a week. And we do a live event, which is like our flagship event. It's probably the most exciting thing that we do because I get to be in a room with all of you. I'm the main speaker for the event. And then we have, we've actually very nearly signed the contract on our guest speaker for March, who I am so excited to bring you guys. We've done the deal already. She's going to be there already, but we've actually just pieced together some stuff today, and we should have it all earmarked and ready to release and give you guys the details. So there'll be 2 speakers. I am one of them, and I'll tell you about the other one once I've got it nailed down. The date is the 22nd of March, and it is in Milton Keynes. So it's in person. We're back in a room. None of this Zoom. While Zoom and this is great, I think for this stuff, it's really important that you can just put your hand up, stop me, and ask me to explain it again if you're stuck on something. The event is designed to build confidence, to help you improve your financial literacy. You guys are ambitious people. You run businesses, you've got good jobs, whatever it might be, wherever you are in your life, but you've just not got that hold on your money that you really want to have. And so the event has been set up to create that for you, basically. It is the live version of everything that I talk about in the book. So mindset, we talk about stocks and shares, we talk about investment funds, we talk about alternative investments like crypto and art and whiskey and all of this sort of stuff. But what is in the event that's not in the book, because it would have been way too long to put in a book, is the fundamental analysis, the fundamental education that you need to be able to select the right places to put your investments, how to read the financial statements of a company so you can choose whether to put your money there or there. How do you distinguish between whether an index fund is one that is right for your strategy or selecting a stock is right for your strategy? Now, by the end of this week, you'll have a bit more understanding of all of the different moving parts of investment, but really deciding to start and move forwards is another step. So Money Mechanics Live is exactly that. It is to increase your financial knowledge. It is to help you as an ambitious person get control of your money and to show you the route to put your money to work in a way that's going to help you to create your financial stability point. Now, for everybody, that's different. In the book, we call it the Fuck You Money Fund. Everybody has a number that they need to have invested at a certain level to be truly financially independent and secure. My job with Money Mechanics, or the mission that we're on, is to help you all get to that point. So understanding how to get to that point and understanding the route to it is super important. So the tickets for the general admission tickets will be £650, or they are £650 plus VAT per person. We've currently got the early bird price happening until the end of January. So this finishes at midnight on Friday, as in not tomorrow, but the next day. So on Friday, you will still be able to get these tickets at the early bird price. On Saturday, they will go up to £650 plus VAT. So what I wanted to do for you guys that are on the boot camp is I've got a bit of a deal for you, right? So everybody can get the early bird. If you go on our website, that's the price that's there. But what I've set up for you, because I also understand that we're here talking about money, right? And all of you have done a spending audit today, and you've all looked at your goals, and you're probably thinking to yourself, fuck, I've not got enough money. I need more money coming in, and I've got more money going out than I've got coming in. That'll be, for a lot of you, that'll be where you're at. So me saying to you right now, I want you to invest some money into your development of that. It feels a little bit like, oh, actually, I don't know whether I should do that. So what I've done, rather than ask you to find £300 plus VAT by Friday with 48 hours notice, I've split it into installments. So for you guys that are on the bootcamp here, you'll be able to pay for it in 3 chunks. You'll pay a chunk now, which is £98.33. So there's no increase in the price. I'm just going to absorb the difference. There's no difference to it. So you can opt to do £98.33 plus VAT now. You'll do one at the end of February, and then you do your third one after the event, right? So I will do the event. I'll get you guys all at the event. We'll give you everything you need, and you'll pay for the last installment of the event after you've experienced the event, right? Which also gives you a fair peace of mind that if you come and you think, well, this was a load of old shit, actually, you can tell me I'm not paying for it. I know that's never going to happen because I just know the value and the power of this day. So I'm more than happy to put my money where my mouth is on that. It means that it makes it accessible to more people, because £98.33 plus VAT is easier to find in 48 hours than £295 plus VAT, right? So I've done my best to try and make this as accessible to you all as I possibly can. This will stop on Friday at midnight though. So because the early bird ticket ticks off, I can't split the £650 into smaller chunks because it would take like ages to do. And the admin on that would be a headache. And I'll be honest, admin's not my skill set. So we can do it this week. We can split it into 3. And what I will also do for all of you, for anyone on here that opts for either pay in full or pays in installments, I'm going to automatically upgrade you to the VIP access of the event. So general admission is £295 plus VAT. And at the moment, the VIP is £395 plus VAT. So it's an extra £100. And for that extra £100, you get front row. So you get early access into our event hall. You get front row. So you basically got me on top of you all day long, which is going to be super exciting. You'll get a copy of the book. If you've already got a copy of the book, we'll give you another one and you can gift it to somebody. I'll happily sign it for you as well. We'll give you a Money Mechanics mug. I'm a money mechanic. These are my absolute favorite mugs. Blue on the inside. I'm a money mechanic on the outside. Very fancy. You'll get one of these. And you will also get the lunchtime VIP Q&A session with the speaker panel. So the VIPs, basically you will grab your lunch, you'll come back in, you'll sit with us, and you can just ask questions to me or our guest speaker. And we've got sponsors as well. So some of those will be on the panel as well. So you'll be able to talk to us about whatever it is that you want. So anybody who's bought their ticket already, because I know a few of you already bought your ticket today, we're going to automatically upgrade you to VIP anyway. So those of you that have bought, you didn't know this, but you're getting VIP. So congratulations. Anybody who's going to book their ticket, it doesn't matter whether you pay in full or book in your 3 installments, you will get access to the VIP level. So it's actually a £395 plus VAT ticket for paying £295. And you'll also get the VIP thrown in. There's a load of resources as well that you're going to get when you book your ticket. You'll get your event workbook, like a delegate workbook, which has got all of my blueprints in it that we'll be working on the day to be able to work your way through. You'll get the Money Mechanics Money Momentum blueprint that we'll be working through on the day. You'll get an advanced budgeting toolkit that will just help you make a bit more sense of budgeting in general. Plus, we get time to talk about it. Obviously, I can only fit so much into an hour on an evening. With a whole day, we've got loads of time to dig into the real nitty-gritty and detail and the real how-tos of all of this stuff. You'll get an investment starter pack, which is basically a starter pack of how to recognize and understand where and how to choose investments, which we've written. An emergency fund planner, how to actually get to a point where you've got an emergency fund so you're not relying on debt, which for so many people is such an important component in moving themselves forward. You'll get a money mindset worksheet, which is a slightly different one to the one that you guys have done this week, because we talk about money mindset in a session on the day, and it'll be the worksheet that goes with that session specifically. And you'll get a spending optimization checklist. So that is similar to your audit, but it will actually take you on a level up of, okay, now we've done the audit, how do we optimize our spending? So it will help you with that. So you're going to get all of those resources. You're going to get the VIP access, the Q&A with the speaker panel. You're going to get a mug, the best mug in the world. you'll get a copy of the Money Mechanics book, one of those, and you will get front row. So it's a pretty good deal. Plus, you don't have to pay for it until after the event. I can't be fairer than this, right? I cannot be fairer than this. But like I say, the event tickets will be going up to $650 on Saturday plus the VAT. If you would like to join, come, attend, you just need to go to the link www.sarahpoynton.com/Money Mechanics Live. So sarahpoynton.com/Money Mechanics Live, and that will get your ticket sorted and booked and etc. Amazing, Shireen. How exciting. Can't wait to see you there. It'd be really nice to see you, actually. It's been a while since I've seen you. I'm excited, and you're super welcome. Yeah, we've upgraded you to VIP. I signed it all off today. So great. Okay, so if anyone's got any questions about that, obviously let me know. But for the time being, let's talk about money goals framework. So your money goals framework, the framework itself is the word money, as you will have noticed down the side. There's key things that you need to recognize when you're looking at setting goals, right? If you do not have each of the components of this framework, you setting your financial goals is going to be really hard, and hitting them is going to be even harder, right? So the working out your priorities is super important. Now, obviously, your reflection on your current situation, we've talked about that. I don't want to talk about that tonight because we've done that the last couple of days. Defining your financial priorities. What I just want to talk about on this is we've all got different financial priorities. For some people, the financial priority is having an emergency fund. For other people, it's being able to clear credit cards. For other people, it's being able to invest 10% of your income. For other people, it's being able to create £100 a month from passive dividend income through stocks, owning stocks. We've all got our own priorities. And the thing is about this is that you could have anything. It doesn't have to be something that I've listed here or something that I've said. Your financial priorities, they're yours. And they're super personal, right? But you have to pick them. So I'd love to hear from you. What have you chosen as your personal defined financial priorities that you're going to be moving through 2025 trying to achieve? What are your top 3 or top 1? Just give me 1 if you want to. You don't have to give me all 3. What is your financial priority right now? What is it that you are focusing on? Tell me in the comments. Tell me in the comments. What is your number 1 financial priority right now as you start to implement all this stuff? Investing in shares. Okay, good. What else? Who else is investing in shares? Jason. It was great meeting you the other day. I've followed Jason online for a really long time, and he's followed me online for a really long time, and we've never met or spoken. And I was privileged to have a drink with him the other night when I was in Newcastle. So it was lovely to meet you. What priorities have we got, folks? It can't just be Jason that's picked his priority. That you must have some. Or are you all off buying tickets to Money Mechanics Live? That would be amazing, huh? Having an emergency pot, good. Creating lots of money with Monzo and focusing on, I'm not sure what the end of that is. Clearing debt. Investing in shares and property. Creating an emergency fund. Amazing. So we've all got some pretty good focuses here, which is great. Your emergency fund, if you haven't got one yet, I would say your emergency fund is something that you will want to prioritize in your top 3 things. The reason for that is if you haven't got an emergency fund yet, if something happens, you will end up using debt to manage it. So if, for example, let's say that you've got an emergency fund. Let's say it's £3,000 emergency fund. It's there. tomorrow morning you wake up and someone slashed your tire on your car. I hope that happens to no one. I'm touching all the wood. I don't want mine doing. Like, let's not bring that on into life. We don't need that energy. But let's say that happened to a stranger that we don't know, so that it's over there. If they had a emergency fund, they'd be able to get those tires replaced without a problem. They say, do you know what? It's a real piss off, but it's an emergency. I need my wheels fixing because I need to get to work, so I'm going to have my wheels fixed, right? If you were anything like me in 2015, if that had happened to me then, I'd have probably had to like put it on a credit card or go into my overdraft or ask someone to help me pay for it. And we don't want to do any of those things, really. We just want to be able to be self-sufficient and pay for our own stuff when something happens. So I would say if you've not got emergency fund sorted yet, then probably prioritizing an emergency fund in your top priorities is going to be a really good move, because then you won't have to rely on debt or other people. Saving for a house, love this. Florence is saving as well. Are you saving for anything specific, Florence? Raising funds for your rent to rent, it's amazing. Creating an investment fund, love this. Yes, I love this. I love this. So defining your priorities, I'd say if you haven't got your emergency fund, that needs to be in there. And then what else is important to you? Buying a house, buying a car, having a holiday, clearing your debt. You know, what are the financial priorities? You'll be able to figure them out for you. Make sure that you connect with them. Make sure that you care about them. Because if you try and, you know, let's say you said, oh, I'm gonna save £100 a month because I'm going to I'm trying to think of something that I would find really dull. I'm going to invest that in premium bonds. For me, that's not exciting enough. Premium bonds, by the way, are a really great, safe place to put your money. And if you've not got any premium bonds, you can put £50,000 into premium bonds and they sit there, they're safe and they do their thing. I don't disagree with premium bonds. I think premium bonds are a really safe place to put your money. For me, they're not sexy enough for me to put my money there because I can put my money somewhere else. So they don't work for me right now, but I think like for my niece and nephew, 100% we put money into premium bonds for them. Like I think everybody, you know, especially starting out, beginners, premium bonds are a great place until you're more confident and ready to go, right? So I've forgotten where I was going now about premium bonds. What was I saying? We've gotten to this point in the week now where I've talked a lot and my brain's a bit frazzled for all the WhatsApping. I forgot what I was saying about premium bonds. That it was dull. That's what I was saying. Connecting with your goals is super important. So actually, if I knew that I was saving to put it into something that I didn't find interesting, I probably wouldn't be disciplined and I wouldn't prioritize it. If you know that you're excited by it, you'll be like, oh, there's a little bit of money there, put that into that. Oh, I've sold a jumper on Vinted today for £2.50, put it in my pot, ready to go. You'd be excited about it, right? So defining your priorities, really, you have to connect with those goals as well and reward yourself when you get them, okay? So good question, Jason. Would premium bonds be a good place for an emergency fund? It could well be. I can't say yes or no. Like I can't give you the advice. I can't say, yes, that's the place to be. But the benefit of premium bonds is that it's a government-backed, very safe and secure place to put your money. It's not going to set the world on fire. It's not really going to do anything massively exciting, but it is government-backed. So provided the government stays in the government and that those systems will sit there, which I think for now we're okay. I don't think that we're going to have like a complete government collapse. That's not on the cards right now. Could it happen in the future? Who knows? But right now I think we're good. You can put up to £50,000 into premium bonds and just let them sit there and do their thing. So potentially, Jason, you could consider this as an option. There are other options as well available. Yes. Hold on. Right. Okay. So that's your priorities. Then we talk about setting goals. So we're following the money framework. We are making sure that our goals are measurable. We're making sure that we've optimized them for our financial situation. This is so important. You know, making them measurable, an amount of money by a time, specifics, right? Like just make it so that you'll know when you've done it. Optimized for your financial situation. I see so many people who try to set financial goals that are so wildly out of current reality that they don't achieve them, and then they get disheartened and fucked off with themselves that they didn't do it, and then they just fall off the wagon completely. Why not just blow all my money on festival tickets or whatever you blow your money on, right? I think when you optimize it for your situation and you personalize it to you, then it makes more sense. So, for example, if you earn $4,000 a month right now, there is no point setting a goal in the next 3 months where you're going to invest $4,000 a month, because you've still got to eat. You still need to heat your house. You still need to buy petrol for your car. You still need insurance. You still need those things. So what's really important is that the goals are optimized to your situation. If you're earning $4,000 a month, maybe you say, do you know what? I'm going to invest 10% of my income. And as my income increases, I'm going to continue to invest 10%. And that means it will go up. Yeah. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be 10%. That's not me telling you 10% is a good number. It depends on what's right for you. It's got to be optimized for your circumstances. The N in the money framework is about noticing your spending habits. Now, you've started to do this today with your audit. And as you finish this week, this will be much, much clearer. And, you know, for some of you, you'll be like, oh, my God, it's a terrible situation. Others, you'll be like, oh, it wasn't so bad. Again, there's no judgment. There's no good, bad, right, wrong. You just are where you are. So with the noticing your spending, when you notice it, you can make better choices. And when you make better choices, you'll be left with money that you can do other things with, right? Emotionally connected, we talked about this a little bit. It has to matter. If you are not emotionally connected to it and there's no real reason to do it, you probably won't do it. And when you're in that decision point, you know, if you are faced with, do I buy the pair of Bulgari sunglasses that I want because they're pretty, or do I put that 250 quid into my holiday fund because I really want to go and stay at the Giraffe Hotel in Kenya? Impulse, plan, strategy, connection, emotion, important, optimized for you. Impulse. When you're in that decision point, you can consciously think to yourself, well, hold on, this 250 quid I'm about to blow on a pair of sunglasses actually is stopping me making an installment payment for my holiday to the Giraffe Hotel in Kenya. So I'm not going to buy those glasses. Because of that connection, because you're emotionally linked to it, because it matters, because it's about you and whoever else will be going with you on the trip, it helps you to make better choices. It helps you to behave differently around the money and to treat it differently. Your relationship will change. Does that make sense? Is that making sense? The decision point is when we fall off the wagon. It's like, I mean, if you've ever been on a diet, if you've ever, said you're going to start a training plan, going to the gym, in the mornings when it's cold outside and dark, the decision is, do I stay in bed and stay warm, or do I get my gear on and go to the gym? The decision point, if you know there's a reason why you're getting up and going to the gym and it matters to you enough, it will be more important than staying in bed. The same with choosing what to eat, the same with choosing what to spend your money on, the same with choosing who you spend your time with. It will, at the decision point, it will help you to make better choices. You might not get it right all the time, but it will help you to make better choices because you'll connect with the reasons. And then the why in this framework is about your timeline. So is it short term? Is it mid-term? Is it long term? Now, a short-term goal in money terms, I mean, you've all heard of short-term, mid-term, long-term goals in life. In money terms, a short-term goal is for the building momentum, for those smaller steps, for those things that you need to do to sort of get out the starting gates. So if you know that actually you want to have or to be running your life with a £3,000 emergency fund, that's where you want to get to. Well, that could be your mid to long-term goal. But in the meantime, you can set yourself a short-term goal of getting to £250 put aside in an emergency fund. You hit that milestone, then you do it again, then you do it again, and again you do that 6 times. No, you do that 4, 8, 12. If you do it 12 times and you've got £3,000. That little milestone, that short term, you're going to feel a win. You're going to feel momentum. It's going to feel great. Yeah. So you set the goal, you make it measurable. You then talk I say talk to yourself, write it down, talk to yourself, understand why it's important to you. That's the E. The amount that you need. So I've used in the example that you've got in front of you, I've used £500 emergency fund. Current financial reality, I can save £100 a month. So optimize to your position. How will I do it? I will save £100 a month over a timeline of 5 months, and that will give me £500. I'm going to do that by cutting takeaways by 50% and adding it to my savings instead. Yeah. So when you can take yourself through what the goal is and how you're going to do it to get to your outcome, you'll know the answers. Instead of thinking, oh, I've got to get to £3,000 in an emergency fund, and just thinking, I haven't got it, I haven't done it. That's just going to create stress and overwhelm and anxiety and all the things. That's not going to help you feel better about where you're at. So instead, think, right, I'm going to go for £250. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do that in a space of, it might be £250 over the course of 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and sell over 10 weeks. I'm going to try to do £25 a week on Vinted. That takes me to my first milestone. What I want you to do, because money is, you can't magic money from nowhere. Right? I know that as well as you know that. Like, it doesn't just fucking fly into our pockets, unfortunately. Wish it did, doesn't. You've either got to trade time for money, or you've got to provide a service, or you've got to sell stuff that you own. You've got to do something in exchange for that money until it's invested, and then the money works for you. But to start in the initial terms, you've got to get that money to get it invested, right? So your short-term, your mid-term, and your long-term goals need to be focusing very specifically on being written in this money framework order. Yeah, we need to follow that framework, because when you follow that framework, what will happen is you'll always achieve it, because it will help you make better decisions. You'll achieve it because actually you had a plan, and a specific plan about how you will do it, not just what it was. Listen, we can all set a goal for anything. I could set a goal for, I'm going to run a marathon tomorrow. I could probably get around a marathon course tomorrow. I'd hurt. It wouldn't be fun. It would be horrendous. So instead, you set a plan. I'm going to run a marathon in 12 months, and this is how I'm going to do it. And it's the same with your money. You've got to follow that framework. You've got to make it measurable. You've got to optimize it for you and your personal circumstances. You've got to notice your spending habits and keep an eye on your spending habits to make sure that you're not impulse spending. You've got to emotionally connect with the goal. It's got to matter to you. You've got to care about it. Otherwise, it won't matter. And you've got to set it to a timeline that makes sense for you. Yeah? And you do that short term. This is like weeks and months. Mid-term, months to a year maybe. Long term, 1 year plus. So it could be like what you're going to do in 5 years, what you're going to do in 10 years. I know I've spoke to a few of you on WhatsApp and stuff today where actually your goal is to retire in 5 years. And you're trying to set the pattern now to be able to be in a position to retire in 5 years. For some of you, it's about being debt-free within 12 months. For others of you, I've spoke to someone today, they want to be debt-free by Christmas. Yeah, this is doable when you follow this money framework, when you set these goals and you explain them. Like you explain to yourself like that. You don't have to explain to anyone else. These are for you. And then the most successful people that work through this, clients of mine, clients that come to Money Mechanics Live, they set the goals and then they work on their action steps. If you do not decide what your action steps are going to be, the deadlines for those things, you will drift. And all of a sudden, it'll be 3 months down the line. You'll be like, oh shit, I'm like behind where I said I would be. The action steps are what you are going to actually do. The steps that you're going to take. So if you know you're going to save £100 a month, well, what's the action step you could take? You could set up an automated payment from your bank account, provided obviously the balance is there, that will go into your investment pot or into your emergency fund pot or wherever on the same day every week. So that you know that over the course of a month, £100 has got into that account and you haven't even have to think about it. It's just automated. That's the action step. The thing that physically you could do to make your life as easy as possible. What could you do to grease the wheels to get to the thing? Yeah? Is this making sense to you all? I appreciate this is quite a big topic tonight. It's also day 3. We're tired. It's been a long week. Some of you are still sitting trying to figure all this out, and that's all okay. But is this making sense? Is this giving you another way to think about setting these goals and actually achieving them? Yeah? Excellent stuff. Great. Okay. So the last part to this is regularly checking in with your goals. So if you know that you've set yourself a short-term goal, we'll use the one that's in the demo, of £500 in an emergency fund within 5 months by cutting out your takeaways so that you can secure your life for unexpected purchases. That's the situation. And to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to automate a £100 transaction or £25 transaction a week into your emergency pot so that by the end of the 5 months, you've got £500 there. At the end of the 5 months, you need to check in. Maybe at 2 months, you need to check in. Am I on track? Am I ahead? Am I behind? Where am I? Am I doing what I said I would do? Am I being disciplined? Am I showing up in a way that's actually going to help me to move the needle in the things that I'm trying to do? Yeah. So your regular check-ins are very important. And if you haven't got a way of having regular check-ins, you could potentially set yourself diary reminders. You could work with an accountability buddy. There's loads of different ways you could do this. But the most important thing is that you do it. You sit and you check in. You actually ask yourself, am I on track? Is the goal still realistic? Has anything changed? Things change. People lose their jobs. People get divorced. People have babies. People do all these sorts of big life things that completely flip goals like this on their head. You have to redo them. You have to reset them. Instead of if it's no longer realistic, bring it back to what's realistic, because when you've got realistic, achievable goals, you are more likely to get there. If you are currently earning £3,000 a month, don't set a goal for investing £10,000 in the next 2 weeks, because it's not going to happen, right? Unless you steal it or borrow it. Don't do either. You can't. Don't go to jail, because no one wants to go to jail. You're all too nice to survive jail. Don't do that. And you can't invest other people's money on their behalf in things like the stock market. You can't. It's illegal. You'll also go to jail. So yeah, don't go to jail is the key here. And then the last bit, as you've got on your sheets, but we've kind of talked about tonight already, is celebrating as you go through. And I want to really reinforce the importance of milestones and rewards. If you have a milestone and you don't reward yourself, actually at a subconscious level, and this is science-backed, this isn't just Poynton's opinion, this is science-backed. If you work really hard and you fight for a thing and you achieve it and you do nothing to recognize that achievement, what you're actually teaching your subconscious brain is that it wasn't worth fighting for, because there was no outcome, there was no recognition. So when you are wanting your brain to show up for you, to make the right choices in those decision points, it will go back into its mind. It's like, well, my job is to protect you from, if you're a cave woman, from the saber-toothed tiger. But in today's age, actually, our brains are there to protect us from feeling pain, feeling upset, feeling all the things. So what it does is it keeps us safe. It keeps us safe in bed in the warm instead of sending us to the gym, because we've taught it that going to the gym is pointless. It doesn't make us feel good. It gets no recognition. What's the point? So when you're in that decision point, if you've not trained your brain to say, well, hold on, I'm at this decision point, I'm going to go to the gym or I'm going to do the thing, because when I do that, I feel great, because There's a reward at the end of it, and I will get my whatever the thing is. It doesn't mean you have to go and set a reward that's got loads of money or, you know, cost you loads of money. One of my favorite rewards, and we joke about this in the office quite a lot, I get laughed at a little bit before it, but one of my favorite rewards that I ever had was a £4 cafetiere from Morrison's, because I'd always had coffee, like instant coffee, and I don't like instant coffee. I like proper coffee. So I'd had this cafetiere that was like massive and old. I don't even know where it came from in my life. But it was big and glass, and it was heavy, and I hated cold in it because it was like, I always thought I was going to break it. To wash it up, it had to all come apart. It was just a faffery, right? So I set myself a goal, and I said, as soon as I've done that goal, I'm going to go and buy myself a new cafetiere, a cheap one, a little single cup one. So it was just for me. It was £4. It was from Morrison's, and I loved it. I mean, sadly, it's broken now, but I absolutely loved it. I've replaced it, but it, you know, lasted about 4 years. I loved it. £1 a year use, cost per use. That's pretty good. And that reward, every time I used it, it reminded me of the work that I put in to get to the thing. You know, I've set myself many different rewards over the years. One of the biggest, and probably the one I'll remember forever, is I set myself a goal of being able to go to the bank and see 6 figures on a screen on the cash point. And, you know, it took a lot of work to get to that point, from minus 60,000, which is where I was, to being 100 grand in the bank. It wasn't there long because I invested it, but I got to a point where that was. And I'd been obsessed with a watch for a really long time. I'd seen it in magazines. I had a picture of it like on my wall, in my vision board. I'd seen it. And I walked into the shop and I bought my watch cash. And when I wear it, I feel incredible. And I wear it like when I've got important stuff going on, when I need to show up for a meeting and I've got to really be on my A game. That's the watch that I wear, because it reminds me, at like a physiological science level, it reminds me just how fucking hard I can work. It reminds me that I can do hard things. And it reminds me that I'm completely capable of anything that I set my mind to. That's what that means to me. It doesn't matter what the watch was. Like, I'm not even going to tell you what it was, where it was from, how much it was. It doesn't matter. It's what it represents to me in my life. So when you have milestones and goals, and you set milestones and goals and you hit them, and there is no reward at the end of it, what you're actually doing is subconsciously teaching your brain that it's not worth the fight. Whereas if you have rewards, it could be a £4 cafetiere. It could be having a Chinese takeaway because you've been really good, and for 3 months, you cut out all your spending. It could be anything like that. But you set a reward next to the goal. And when you achieve the goal, you non-negotiable, you treat yourself to the reward. So I'd love to hear in the comments what some of your rewards might be. Let's just play. Let's just tell me what they could be. And if you've got a milestone connected to them, i.e., you know, you said in here, some of you are trying to clear your debt, trying to book a holiday, trying to travel, trying to buy a house, trying to save, trying to get your investment fund together, trying to get your emergency fund. Like, these are all of your goals, or the things that are your priorities. When you've achieved one of your priorities, what will your rewards be? Tell me. So I can't really hear them because I can't hear you, but I want to see in the chat, what will you reward yourself with when you achieve your first milestone that you're thinking about setting? What is going to be do you know what? Well fucking done. Well done. You did good. How are you going to reward yourself? Now, for a lot of you, you'll be thinking, I have got no idea. Because we generally, most people struggle to reward themselves. They just think it's just the job. I just got to do the thing. And the thing is the reward, but that's not really the case. This is about making sure that we're training our brain to behave the way we want it to behave when it's presented with a choice. So what are your rewards? I need to hear from some of you. I shouldn't have worn this scarf. It's making my neck itchy. I'm sorry for the... I could reward myself with a new scarf. It doesn't make my neck itch. What are your rewards? I can't believe it's just silence in the room. Come on. What would you like to treat yourself to? Don't worry about the how. Just tell me what is it you'd like. Take yourself out to dinner and tip well. I love this, Katie. I really like that. Do you know, and I'm curious, is that take just yourself by yourself out for dinner? Or is that take yourself and somebody else? I think there's one of my favorite things to do is to go out and eat on my own. People think I'm a bit weird. Whenever I travel, and I travel a lot on my own for work and stuff, and I actually really I used to just get room service because I'd like hide and not want to speak to anyone. And then I learned to just take a book and just like turn off my tech and just take a book and go sit in a restaurant by myself and have my food for me and exactly the wine that I want and exactly the food that I want and pudding if I want it and like just sit and people watch and read my book. And it's just one of my absolute favorite things to do. You sound like my kind of girl, okay? This is the sort of thing that I 100% would do as a reward. River cruise in Europe. I love this. Nice. I never really thought about a river cruise. I've only ever really considered like an ocean cruise. I didn't know they did river cruises. That's interesting. Interesting. What else? There must be more of you. There can't just be two people that are thinking they might treat themselves if they do well. See how hard this is for most people. Just humor me. What could it be? A nice meal, but to take your girlfriend. Really nice, Jermaine. Good job. What else? Come on. Is it a £4 cafetiere? Is it a lovely watch? Is it a non-itchy scarf? Could be anything, right? Could be anything. What is it for you? 3 of you have replied to this, and I know there's like loads of you on here. So go to Florence City. Amazing. So Florence, what you need to do is say, okay, what will have to happen for me to book that trip? What will I have needed to achieve to book that trip? And then when you do it, make that a non-negotiable. You book the tickets. You have to book it. Same for you, Susan. Write down, when this has happened, I will book my river cruise in Europe. Put it on your screensaver, put it on your phone, put it on your wall in your office, whatever it is. Get it up, make it visible, see it, connect with it, be engaged with it, those things. Finally fix my espresso machine. Actually, Kerry, this is a very, like, you laugh, but that will matter to you because that's clearly pissing you off in the background and you're clearly not prioritizing it because you've got other things that are probably more important in terms of spending money on. So you make that a goal. Or even just buy a new espresso machine instead of getting one fixed. That might be a bit wasteful. I don't know what espresso standard machine you've got. Actually, some of them are quite expensive, so maybe just get it fixed. But yeah, when this has happened, this is what I'll do. It's a non-negotiable, right? It has to be a non-negotiable. It can't be I'll just cancel that, because it will train you that in those decision points, you won't fight the fight, you'll give up. And I need to make sure that that's not what we're going to do. It's important that we do the thing. Yeah? So I've covered off all the things that I needed to cover off this evening. Oh, look, these are coming in now. Go to a French restaurant and order from the menu in French, which means you need to learn French in 3 months. Great. Duolingo is great. I'm trying to learn Spanish on Duolingo at the moment. And I mean, I'm not doing particularly well, actually. I had a streak last year that was on like 70 days or something. And then I got poorly over Christmas and I haven't looked at it. So I've lost all my streaks and I'm very sad. And the moody girl in me is like, oh, I'm not going to do it, but I really must do it. So Duolingo is quite good if you're trying to learn a language. And Rosetta Stone, I hear, is also quite good. A friend of mine did that. So tomorrow is quite a big day. Again, we're going to talk about some of the more complex bits tomorrow. It would be really, really powerful for you to have finished today, because all of the days, as you're starting to see, layer into each other. So if you've done the day before, tomorrow will just be that little bit easier. Obviously, by the end of the week, I want you to feel confident that you know what you're doing with your money. You know what you're changing, to create the pots that you need to create, and then you know where you want to put it, right? So we're moving into that latter stage. We're moving into, over the next couple of days, where we're going to put our money based on the different types of places that we can put our money, right? But we have to know where our money's coming from before we can do that. Just to recap, the Money Mechanics Live event is on the 22nd of March. It's in Milton Keynes. The ticket does include parking. For those of you who have sent me a message on that, your parking's included in your ticket, whatever level of ticket you've got, whether it's VIP or you guys will all get VIP anyway. You'll have parking included. If you're getting a train, Milton Keynes Central is our closest train station. If you're driving, it's super easy off the motorway. Milton Keynes is really easy from most places. We're like central in terms of the country. You can get to us pretty easily. We will be starting the day at 8 a.m. arrival registration, 8 a.m. registration, and we will be out of the building by 6. So it's not one of those events that is going to like keep you till 11 p.m. My voice had given. I couldn't do it. And also, one of the really important things, one of the questions I've had, which I didn't say about, is this a big upsell for something else? No. So right now in the Money Mechanics business, there are 3 things that you can buy: a book, Stock Savvy, which is £2 a week subscription, and a ticket to our event. There is no big upsell to thousands and thousands of pounds on a mastermind or anything like that. We don't have that. We may well introduce that in the future at some point, but what you guys all need to know about me is there is no pressure selling. There's no like big price drops. There's none of that. That's just not me at all. Most of you have seen me speak before. You'll know that. But anyone who's brand new to me, you'll get this version of me. I'll still swear a little bit too much probably. And it will be an event that is full to the brim of value. It's not going to be a big kind of, well, we'll give you loads of little snippets, but we're not going to tell you anything unless you spend thousands of pounds to come on a new thing, etc. So don't worry about that. That the person that's messaged me that, I want you to just know that's not what it is. The day is about giving you as much value as I possibly can fit into a day. And I'll be honest, we get a lot in. So be ready. Have a good night's sleep the night before. I've also had a couple of other questions. So one of them here is, do you need financial knowledge to come and make the most of Money Mechanics Live? So actually, what's great about the way that we've structured this is that the event meets you where you're at. So if you're somebody who's really early on in their journey, it will make sense to you because the content's been written in a way that meets you where you are. If you're more advanced, so let's say you've stabilized your income, you've got no debt, you're ready to invest, you just want to understand where and how, it will meet you there as well. So it's been designed in the way, I've worked really hard on creating a book and an event to go with the book that meets you exactly where you're at. So you don't need to have loads of experience. No, if you've got it, great. But if you haven't, don't worry. Will the event help me if I'm in debt? So, this 5 days is really about helping you to get a grip of where and how to stabilize your income and recover from debt. We do touch on it at the event because there's very specific things around the avalanche method, the snowball method. There's different techniques that we can use and different strategies we can use. I don't really have time to get into on these sessions that we talk about with debt. We talk about leverage of debt. We talk about other people's money with debt. We talk about all of that. So if you are in debt and you're trying to recover from debt, it will meet you where you are. If you're somebody that wants to use debt to develop their financials, then it will meet you there as well. So we'll cover all of that. How much is it? I've answered that. £295 or 3 installments of 98.33. You pay 1 installment now, 1 in Feb and 1 after the event. Plus VAT. We have to do the VAT, annoyingly. Sorry about that. There's a couple of people that send me private messages, and I'm not going to say who it is, but I want to just say what's in them because I think probably there'll be more than just you worried about this. So I had a message today saying, I feel really embarrassed about my financial situation. If I come to this event, I'm worried I'm going to feel judged. So first of all, you don't have to share anything that you don't want to share, right? I'm not going to pin. It's the reason why we do this on WhatsApp and YouTube and not Facebook. So this event in a Facebook group, you'd all be talking about really confidential, private, for some of you, overwhelming and emotional topics. We do this in WhatsApp, so you've got one-on-one with me, but no one else can see what you're talking to me about. And the event's the same. You don't need to share anything at the event that you don't want to. So, if you are embarrassed about your situation, first of all, don't be, because we are where we are. It doesn't matter. We just now need to shift, right? Line in the sand. I was in loads of debt. Lots of people in loads of debt. And it's not your fault. You just didn't know how to not get there. And you don't know how to fix it yet. But that's okay, because we can learn, right? So first of all, don't be embarrassed. Second of all, will you be judged? No. How could I possibly judge somebody who's in a situation that I was in not that long ago? Absolutely not. There'll be no judgment at all. And I can assure you, if there ever was in a room that I was running, the person would be out in a split second. It's not how we roll here at all. This is a really tight-knit community and we look after each other. So you'll be fine. You will be looked after. Someone else has said, I really don't want to share publicly what my situation is. Will I have to? Just to reiterate, no, you won't have to. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. There's no pressure. If you want to share and it will help you, you can ask all the questions, you can tell me the things, but you don't have to. Will you teach me about what stocks to pick? I will teach you how to pick them so you can pick them. I will not be teaching you what to pick, because that would be investment advice. And I can't give you investment advice. I can't say to you, put your money into this or put your money into that, or this fund is better than that fund. I can't do that. The whole ethos around money mechanics is to build your confidence so you can be the champion of your own money. So you don't have to rely on somebody else's tips. You don't have to rely on someone else managing your money. You can be the controller of your own money. So yes, I'm going to show you how to pick what works. I'm going to talk to you about fundamental analysis. I'm going to talk to you about, financial statements and how to read them in a really simple way. I'm going to show you how to do it all from your phone for like 20 minutes a week. You don't need any more time than that. I don't spend any more time than that. We'll dig into this properly tomorrow and the next day. But because it came up as a question tonight, the answer is yes, I will show you how to pick, but I'm not going to show you what to pick. So hopefully that answers that question. The link for you to come is on the screen, sarahpointing.com/money mechanics live. And once you go through, as you fill in the form, you click the button and it will say general admission and VIP. Just pick the general admission one, because you're all automatically going to get the upgrade anyway. So you don't need to pay for the extra. And that will be £295 plus VAT, or 3 installments of £98.33 plus VAT. So obviously the deadline, I've said it, I'll say it again. The deadline is midnight on Friday, the 31st. It will go up on Saturday. So please don't message me on Saturday and say, oh my God, I forgot. Don't do that. I appreciate some of you will need to wait till Friday. I've had 2 people message me today, literally while I've been on here, saying, I'm going to do this on payday. Payday's Friday. I get it. I get it. It's also January, right? Which is like 943 days long for most people. So I get it. Probably today might not be the day you do it, but it will stop on Friday. So to get this price, make sure you do it Friday. Don't pay £650 plus VAT if you don't have to. I'd much rather you paid $295. So that's me done for tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Get these goals finished, get these rewards pinned down, because tomorrow we get into like the super sexy stuff. I'm really excited about sharing it with you. If you've got any questions, obviously just WhatsApp me. If for any reason you don't get a link in the morning, because WhatsApp's still being a bit funny with me, just WhatsApp me, let me know, email, talk to us, whatever you need, and we will make sure that we answer everything. Thank you for hanging out with me this evening again. It's been a pleasure. I'll catch up with you later, and I look forward to seeing loads of you at Money Mechanics Live in March. Catch you later. Bye.